Well, let's speak now to Firas Maksad. He's the adjunct professor at George Washington University. Firas, a very warm welcome to the programme. What are your thoughts on Turkey's current moves in Afrin?
Well, Julie, I think Turkey is in a tough place. It hasn't been going well for President Erdogan in Syria. It hasn't gone well not only because of American support for the Kurdish militias there, but also because commitments made by Russia to Turkey as part of a de-escalation zone in Idlib, also those promises have not been kept. So President Erdogan, who subscribes to a very nationalistic brand of politics, is feeling squeezed and feeling the need to react, and I think this is part of that reaction.
So, Firas, is what you're saying is that partly this is about putting a strong message out to his own Turkish audience at home?
There's certainly a domestic component to all the rhetoric coming out of Turkey, and even here in Washington, there's an understanding of why President Erdogan needs to conduct this military operation. In fact, I would go as far as saying, and there might be even a tacit acceptance, that as long as Turkish troops remain on the west bank of the Euphrates River, that Washington might decide to look the other way and not come to the assistance of its Kurdish allies on the ground. Now, if Turkey decides to cross the river onto the east side, that's a whole different story, because that's where U.S. national interests are at stake.
So why does Turkey, Firas, see the YPG as a national security threat? Well, you know,
there is a considerable Kurdish minority in Turkey, and the YPG is a Kurdish militia operating in Syria, quite a significant one, in fact, one that Washington thinks is the most militarily reliable ally on the ground. And so naturally the Turks are worried that the YPG, which are loosely affiliated with the PKK, the Kurdish terrorist group within Turkey, that would bleed over and would lead to unrest within Turkey itself.
And we know, don't we, Firas, that the US side of things, they announced US-Syria policy must be viewed as complementary to the Iran strategy. So how does all of this fit together?
Well, listen, I think Washington, after quite some time of President Trump coming into office, articulated a Syria policy, one that aims to preserve U.S. gains in Syria. The U.S. had been involved in trying to push ISIS out, and now that they have, they want to hold on to the territory that they and their allies have, and also to try and put some pressure on Iran in Syria. Financial pressure, because the Iranians spent up to $15 billion a year in supporting the Assad regime. And that territory that the U.S. is holding on to is very rich in natural resources, including oil. There's the Euphrates Dam, and there's also very agriculturally rich land in that area. So this is part of a broader geopolitical calculus for Washington, why they want to remain in that part of Syria.
Firas Maksad there joining me from Washington, D.C. Firas, thank you.